Hello and welcome to How Art Thou? My name is Austin, and today I'd like to talk about how Wreck It Ralph 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet, ruined everything with marketing and advertisements and product placement and literally everything. So, starting off, I love Wreck It Ralph 1. I thought it was perfect. One of my favorite movies of all time. You have solid video game references, which let you know that the people who made it are fans of video games or at least did their research, but you also had the subtle moments where it was heartfelt. There was great character development. John C. Riley, Sarah Silverman were great. All the characters were fun. Thought the plot was interesting. They didn't dwell too much on other video games. They stuck mostly, to their new games like Heroes Duty and Sugar Rush. And some would complain that Sugar Rush had a little more or too much screen time than Wreck It Ralph's own game, but that's where the plot needed to be, and I felt good with it. Because then we got to see more of the Turbo, subplot that they exposed towards the end, and all around just a fun film. I liked Calhoun, Fix It Felix, just a movie that I'll pop in whenever I'm feeling blue. It's a good time. Wreck It Ralph 2, though, is a dumpster fire. I wanted to like this movie, but also after seeing the trailers, I waited until I would say a week ago to finally watch it, and I'm just now doing a video on it because it angered me so much. Uh, let's jump right in. So basically, the movie starts off pretty solid. I like the setup. You have Ralph and Vanellope hanging out, being friends. Although I'd say it's pretty apparent from the beginning that Ralph and Vanellope have become caricatures of who they were in the last movie. The last movie, they felt pretty defined. You understand Ralph's plight, where he's not the smartest guy, but he's got a big heart and he's just a good dude. And then you have Vanellope, who she's obnoxious, but she's cute. And you can see how that gets her in a lot of trouble and why she doesn't have a lot of friends. And, things start adding up and they feel very organic. And in this one, they overplayed Ralph's dumbness and they overplayed Vanellope's. Uh, I don't know what they overplayed with her. I want to say her obnoxiousness, but I don't know. She felt pretty stale. And that's not to say that their actors and actress did not put in a good job. I thought Sarah Silverman and John C. Riley did a great job as usual. They're great voice talents and just good actors in general. For me, it just felt like, even though the story revolved around these characters trying to grow in a new way, it just didn't have an impact because everything they needed to do or feel was in the last movie. And yeah, I don't. I mean, it was pretty plain right when they start looking for. Uh, I don't. Where do I start with this movie? I don't know where to start with this movie because I just want to jump into the parts where I yell about the advertisements and stuff. But I guess we'll start at the beginning. That seems fair. A lot of this is right off the cuff. I'm just kind of just yelling right now. There's no written dialogue, which should be obvious by now. And yeah, let's just do this. And also, I'm trying a new thing where I record the audio first and then do the drawing, as opposed to doing both at the same time. It's just a little easier that way because it is hard to do multitasking, at least for my brain. So here we go. Story starts off. Ralph and Vanellope, like I said, hanging out. Then all of a sudden, Vanellope's video game breaks, and to buy a piece for it, they have to go on eBay. Already good setup. I like this. It gives the characters a reason to go on the internet other than to jump into brand loyalty garbage. So you have these two characters, they're on a quest, doing it up, having kind of like a road trip moment. I thought that was cool. I like the vibe they kind of set up where it feels like Ralph and Vanellope are kind of like, I don't know, waiters or waitress at a old, dive bar, and Vanellope wants more in life, and Ralph is having a good time, drinking and partying all the time. It's good setup. very relatable for somebody in late 20s. And so they go on the internet, and things are off to a strong start. They get to the place they need to go, although they get to that little wizard boy, the guy who, I don't know what the reference is, the guy who's doing the things and he's telling them the information, that character, and it's just pop culture references, and right away I just started hurting because when they go into the internet, it's pretty bland. It's all white. It's very clean and polished, which I don't think anybody who's been on the internet sees it that way. But whatever. And there's not a lot of character to the environments. Like it's other than brands, which I mean, we see brands every day. It's a little exhausting when you go on Instagram or Twitter, or Facebook, and that's just what you see every day. It's exhausting. And we just went over this with the Emoji Movie. Like that, the whole thing was just like, hey, remember this, but also you don't really have to remember it because you're looking at it right now. Like I went on Instagram while I was watching this movie because I got so bored halfway through. So they start off, things are okay, they're tolerable, and then they find the item, but then they rack up the price too much. So they're like, okay, we need money. We need to actually buy this item. So cut to them finding this little, I don't know, virus guy person. Uh, like instantly when he showed up, I kind of already predicted what was going to happen later. And they start doing these loot challenge hiding jobs where they find like, loot in video games and then sell it to people, which I thought was great. I thought that was awesome. I was excited at that point because we were going to get more of Ralph and Vanellope hopping in and out of games and doing their thing. And I was stoked. And then out of nowhere, it was just kind of like, oh, look, BuzzTube. It's like, BuzzTube? And they're like, yeah, instead of hopping around in video games, having adventures, getting cool items, why don't we do social media now? And this is instantly where I both face palmed and cringed through my chair at the same time. And because instantly from that point on, where they ditched the loot finding stuff for the social media, I I knew that was it. It was over. And the thing is it wouldn't have been that bad if Disney didn't showcase how uncool they are. Like they try to show off like their Disney website later and all that stuff, which is just so bad. It was just bad. Like I don't, because from everything before that, I'm like, okay, we're on the internet. Personally, I would have preferred if it was all like pun parodies of what they were, like they have BuzzTube and all that, but instead of Facebook, you have look face. I don't know, something that would have been a little more entertaining. Because the second you introduce all these brands, it dates the movie so hard. Like I'm not gonna rewatch this movie because it's reminiscent of a time that I don't care for, like which is now. Like I don't understand why they went. I understand why because they made them a truckload of money before the movie even came out to have these brands in the movie. But I, knowing Disney, I thought they would do it in a way that would be a less obvious or blatant. And I, yeah, after that, I don't really remember a lot of this movie because it just went so, eh. Like, because then they start showing parts of Ralph making viral videos, which nobody has said viral since 2008. And it just became so, uh, I don't even know how to describe it. I want to say cringy, but even cringy is becoming like an outdated term at this point. It's just blah. Like it felt like all the Disney magic. It was just kind of like it felt like it wasn't Wreck It Ralph anymore. It felt like we were just going into tired sequel territory. And after Incredibles 2, it's I don't know. I don't have a lot of hopes for Pixar and Disney right now because of the directions they've been going. Or Finding Nemo 2, like Toy Story 4, like all these movies, just from the trailers, you can see how bland they are. Like, yeah, they're objectively good movies because they get a story from point A to point B and it doesn't waste your time, like, as far as, like, they keep it pretty crisp and clean. And there's a lot of polish animation wise. So you can't really falter these movies for being, you know, insulting. But this one, it was like a veil had been lifted. And mostly I'm referring to the Disney website part. That was so bad. It was just awful. Because all I can just do is here's my reaction. Like they have the Star Wars, they have the whatever, then she sees the Disney princesses, and I know it's all the rage on Tumblr and whatever, but I thought that whole Disney princess scene was so just I couldn't even sit still during it because I was just turning away from the screen. It was just so bad. And I know I'm not the demographic for that part or most of this movie, or probably not the movie in general, considering I don't know, I liked the first one, but it just was and the only reason I would give it half of a pass is because they do a musical number with Penelope later in she goes into this driving video game. I don't know, it's like a mobile game, like which I thought was fun in parts, but it they didn't do enough with it. And she does a musical number, and it was fun. It was cute. It was done well. Uh, I thought it was the only reason I was like, okay, like they're putting a little charm back into it. This is fine. But of course, you gotta have the scene where Ralph misunderstands the situation, and for a while I was excited that there wasn't gonna be a villain. I was hoping there wasn't gonna be a big villain. Like the characters were gonna learn their lesson and everything was gonna, figure itself out, and we were gonna have more of like a like if you think about the climax and the ending of the first one, I thought it was done so well where he's holding his little thing and he's like, I'm bad, but that's good, and he drops on the thing and defeats Turbo, and the when they wrap up the movie it just feels very very satisfying. Whereas this one it's just kind of like a virus and it makes a bunch of Ralphs, and then Ralph fights a big Ralph, and I was looking on my phone for most of that because it was so uninteresting, like what I was watching. Like, okay, we're doing like, is this King Kong reference? And he's using like the Pinterest thing, I guess. Okay, and then the movie just kind of ends, and that was it. It was like, cool. Why did we do this? And I don't know, man. This movie was hard to watch for most of it. Like I was saying, like the first one just felt so fun and original, and this one, the opening was so promising, and then from there it just kind of just fell apart. It was like they had a great movie written, and then Disney came in and chopped it in half and was like, okay, we're doing advertisements now, and we're going to make this one big commercial, and you're gonna like it. And I know they gotta push their amusement park, and they gotta show off the website and show that they have Star Wars and the Marvel, and it felt like a slog towards the end. And I can't think of any memorable characters from it. Like the Yas Queen was okay, but they don't do anything with her. Uh, the princesses do some things towards the end. Like honestly, like I wanted to see more of Calhoun and Fix It Felix, because they open it with them taking care of the sugar riders, and it's fun. Like you kind of see a little interaction there, and they're kind of being like new parents, and then at the end you see that they ended up being great parents, and the sugar riders are cool kids now. And then they just kind of are like, oh yeah, we did good jobs. What what happened? Like, I kind of wanted, story wise, I think you should have dropped something in the middle, even if it was like a 2 minute scene of them working with the kids and giving them a little lesson or something. Like, more of that, because towards the end, I totally forgot that they even had the kids, and it just felt just bleh. Like, just bleh. And that's all I'm going to say about this movie, because I could go on for another 6 hours, and I want to keep this short and sweet. And I want to hear what you guys think about the movie. What did you like it? What did you think that the Disney advertisements made it an oath? Did it not hurt your experience? I want to know, because I was really not having a good time, and the reviews for this movie were very positive, and it just felt so shallow to me. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear more from your point of view, and I hope you liked this video, even though it was me complaining about it for who knows how long. 60, yeah, wow. So let me know, and I want to talk to you about it in the comments. If you like the video, cool. If not, cool. And oh yeah, if I were to give this movie a rating, I would give it a D plus, because it was a D plus kind of movie. I was thinking about giving it a C minus, but boy, did that second half of the movie. I think it was the first third actually was good, and then after that it was just like, of course there was fun moments, like I chuckled a couple times. Like I said, the musical number towards the end was fun. I just, yeah, it just felt like it could have been something greater, and I'm glad I just rented it instead of buying it. So I'd give it a D plus. If you want to check it out, don't let me stop you, and let me know what you think, and tell me I'm wrong, because I want to hear what you think. And yeah, this is Austin with How Art Thou, and hope you like my little doodles, and have a great day. Later.